everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Fourtress, of a podcast about movies, TV shows, video games, and lots of pop culture nerd things. My name is Oscar. I'll be one of your hosts today, and with me, per usual, are two of your other hosts. We got Brian, the Beard, aka Old Reliable, aka the Spider-Man villain, Mr. Negative, on a redemption arc.
Am I redeemed yet? When am I going to be redeemed? How many shows, episodes I have to go through?
It's probably like a Dragon Ball Z style arc, so
God,
forever.
we're going for at least 100.
And if you hear that other voice, it is also Devin, aka
Yo.
the Brains, also known as Mr. Nowhere.
Yes, that's right.
Hey guys.
Hello.
What's up?
How we all doing? How we all feeling this weekend? Exhausted?
Sunday scaries, big time, for sure.
Hell yeah, brother.
Oh wait, I can't. I mean, Wednesday scaries.
Because we record live every single week.
Yeah, when you play us, listeners, we're actually live playing in your ear.
We're talking directly to you. Hello, listener. It is us.
Guys, we got a pretty packed show today, so should we just get straight into it in our first segment of the week?
Let's just get straight into it.
News talk. As usual, listeners, if you want to jump to any particular section of the show, check the time codes for all that, and also to avoid spoilers, if there are any in this episode, check them. They're all time coded down there. With that, guys, this is a fucking sad fucking week of news. There's quite, as listeners will see, but there was one tiny little glimmer of cool news at the top. Well, let's start with that. Apparently, this is reported by Polygon that TMNT, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, is getting a new video game based off the last Ronin comic, which apparently is a very beloved. I've never read it, and I've only know that it takes place in like a post-apocalyptic world where all but one of the turtles is alive, and you don't in fact know who that turtle is. I think maybe until the end, but they use all of the other turtles' weapons. And apparently it's going to be like a God of War style game, which as soon as I heard that it's just one turtle with all the weapons, I was like, that makes absolute fucking sense.
Oh. Wait, so it's only one is alive, the other three are dead.
Apparently, yeah.
That's fucking dark.
Oh, shoot. Yeah, that is dark.
Like this was like apparently the big reunion between the two creators of the Turtles comic. They came back and did this. And apparently it's phenomenal. I have never heard of it, but
Okay, not having read the comic, who would you guess it would be?
Donatello.
I was gonna say Raphael because I feel like everyone always likes to lean on him, but it would be cool if it was Donatello. I mean, he's the leader, but
I also think Leonardo would be too.
No, sorry, Leonardo. That's what I meant.
I think Leonardo would be too on the nose.
Yeah,
What if it was Michelangelo because he was always so happy, and then he's in a place where he has to be so like dark and broody.
Stormy.
I feel like the twist
Even between really good. Michelangelo and Donatello, I think are two odd choices that I think would be pretty cool. You know?
Yeah, I agree.
But at the same time, it could be a thing where you just don't know since they're using off Ford. You don't know the whole time, and they just leave it at that. That'd be kind of interesting.
They just never tell you. Yeah,
I'm pissed if I get in the fucking video game. I still know what it is.
Yeah, they got to tell you at some point. But yeah, no, that would really work though. I think it'd be pretty cool. But the question is, what kind of post-apocalypse is it? Is it like alien invasion or zombies or?
I'm reading up on it now. Apparently, it's just a world where the Foot Clan killed all the other three turtles.
Ooh.
So maybe not post-apocalyptic. It's just that they're all dead, and it's a world where he's seeking revenge against the Foot Clan and Shredder.
The world could be worse. I don't expect that they had good plans for the world once they defeated the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Right.
I'm a little worried with how many games are. I think we're back at another Breath of the Wild situation where every game's going to talk about how they're a different kind of, Breath of the Wild, where it's, it's like God of War. Because Final Fantasy 16 has been saying the same things, and that's kind of pissing me off. For lack of a better word, because just like we're getting to this point where we're just getting like a series of like it's almost like a new genre of video game. It's not really, but you know what I mean? Like
right.
To say that we had everything that was super open world, adventure, exploring, and now our new thing is you're like super story driven, heavy. You have a son. Okay.
Yeah.
I just get scared because I just always think it's gonna be a worse version of the games that I already like. So
you used to yell at people, now you use your soft voice.
I mean, again, it should be noted that the publisher or the people making it is being held under wraps, so we don't know yet. So that could also tell the difference of whether or not this game would be as good as a God of War or not.
Because we are seeing a lot of games that people have been talking about for years and years and years, and they finally show some gameplay, and it's like, holy shit, that's terrible. Then they go back into hiding, and then it's not going to get released until 2024. So hopefully it's going to be released by a good company, so that doesn't happen.
Either way, it could
Yeah.
be very interesting, very fun. We'll see. A Dark Ninja Turtles game. That's
Yeah.
compared to what we just got, like what last year with all those super hyper color fun Turtles games. This will be a very different experience, I would imagine.
There's got to be. I mean, are they going to have a dark moment where it's like, just a dark brooding, like Cowabunga, like you know,
Cowabunga.
like just but in a dark way. I don't know.
Just like stabs Shredder.
Cowabunga, but derogatory. Yeah, I'm into
Yeah.
Next up. All right, now listeners, we're into about 4 to 5 news articles of just fucked up the
Sad
world
hours.
sucks news.
Sad hours.
Man, yeah. Let's start off. Me and Brian talked about Shazam, Fury of the Gods last week, and there's some stuff that came out after we recorded where, I mean, we talked about it. Yeah, we thought The Rock kind of ruined this movie, not entirely on his own, but partially on his own in the sense that, yeah, Black Adam should have been the villain of that movie, or at least introduced in that movie. And then some news came out from the rep, and they seem to confirm that The Rock basically said he put a stop. He said no to having Shazam appear in Black Adam, even in a post credit, and it was just like, yeah, well that franchise was doomed as soon as that happened.
It's just I can't. I'm so annoyed with him as a human being to essentially just lie to us and talk about I've wanted to be Black Adam for 15 years. This has been everything. I've been a huge fan and all this stuff, and then on the same vein, be like, I don't want to be the main villain of the comic book that I love so much.
Right.
So you're just a fucking piece of shit. Is what that
That's
sounds
what
like
I'm
to
saying.
me.
It's like it seemed like he wasn't a fan of as much as of the stories of that character in the comics, as opposed to he just liked the idea of being a super powered god like person.
So all you did is ruin what actual real people did like. You know what I mean? That's all that looks like to me. So he's just like a really big dick, and you ruined the
Yeah.
franchise. And I think we say he didn't ruin it by himself. I want to say he did. I'm gonna go out on a whim. You know what? I think he did it by himself. The whole reason Black Adam failed has nothing to do with anything. And the whole reason
Right.
that Shazam #2 failed is also had no reason to do with anything because it should have had Black Adam in it. So it's like
Yeah.
Yeah.
it just ended up with two
Absolutely.
super lukewarm stories that have no connection with each other whatsoever. They don't even look the same. They're not even edited similarly.
Right. No.
Whose
yeah,
fucking
yeah,
idea?
they're-
Who thought that? Who gave the green light? Fire them right now. Who is it? Fire them.
Yeah.
Oh, you were looking at your
Yeah.
LinkedIn. You are fired. Thank you.
Makes you wonder what The Rock, like, I mean, from everything you hear about The Rock, because he's very professional, usually a pretty great guy on set, but it begs the question of, like, why, if you really did love this character, why would you not fight his main nemesis at least once, or at least tease it?
Big ass bald head fucked up everything.
I mean, that's what I'm saying, because it seemed like he wanted to be the center and star of this universe, and it's like, if you know the comics of Black Adam, nobody wants that. Nobody wants Black Adam to be the centerfold of this whole entire DC universe. Are you nuts?
Right. That's why, like, when it came out that he was going to be Black Adam, it was kind of like, huh? Like, why did they put him there? Like, I feel like there's other characters you could have used The Rock for.
I think he watched Guardians of the Galaxy and was like, I could be that. I could be the center of that portion of the universe. No, you can't.
Right.
That's
right.
stupid.
Yeah.
But I also thought, like, the whole thing we're talking about is Zachary Levi also tweeted this out, and he said, "The truth shall set you free," and it seemed just seemingly confirmed. Like, yeah, damn.
in The Rock's attempt to try so hard to not be the villain in anything, he became the villain in real life. That's what happened.
Sad.
Yeah, it's a bit of a bummer. I mean, granted, this universe was gonna die because of the whole James Gunn taking over thing, anyways. But it would have been cool to see, Shazam vs. Black Adam once.
I mean, Shazam still had heart, apparently. Like, they were still potentially
It's
trying
true.
to play around with it. But now I feel like
Yeah.
after this whimper of a box office, I don't think we're
it's-
getting any more of that. I think it's going to be put on ice after that.
Yeah, at least for a while, I would imagine. Yeah.
Mm.
All right, next piece of sad news. This somewhat news. We haven't talked about it, but there's been some new news about this coming out with longtime Marvel Studios producer Victoria Alonso left Marvel after a long tenure there. Ever since like before Iron Man, she's produced so much shit with them. The whole entire MCU she's been there. And now there's have been some reports by Variety and stuff about how she may not have just left. She may have been fired. Yeah, and obviously she was like in charge of the VFX and the animation department, which, well, let's be honest, has been taking a lot of criticism for valid reasons over the past Phase 4 / beginning of 5 with Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, and yeah, it's not looking great,
Mhm.
I wonder if it was one of those things because one of the things they talk about is how it seems like it could be the fact that she may have breached her contract
as reported by THR as well.
by working with Amazon Studios to do what was what it looks like would probably like more of a passion project and less of like her, like we said, potentially working on another huge fucking movie or something like that that would directly compete with Marvel. But just based on what we kind of see in the last couple of phases of Marvel, it's feeling that doesn't feel like the full story. You know what I mean? One thing you
Hmm.
did talk about was how, like, yeah, we know that the effects of the last couple of Marvel movies, the last few, maybe four, have been less than okay.
Yeah.
And we're wondering if they're maybe trying to do a little bit of a house clean at the same time that DC is doing their own house clean to kind of
Right.
restructure, because they are noticing that, as we've seen, a lot of the movies we've been reviewing and talking about over the last 6 months have been getting pretty lukewarm responses from critics.
Hmm.
And one of the biggest issues have been like, yeah, shit just doesn't look very good. Like,
Right.
and
Right.
maybe some of her decision making hasn't been up to par, at least in Marvel's eyes. But maybe they couldn't. Maybe that wasn't enough of a place to stand on to be like, yeah, we can fire her for that. So maybe they were like, well, let's make some shit up real quick.
I mean, obviously, because
Yeah.
yeah, her attorney has denied those reports of her breach of contract, which was to produce the film Argentina 1985, which I had never heard of, but clearly it's not like she went to DC. It's
Hmm.
like I feel like this ain't. It's probably not the last we've heard of
Well,
this story. It will continue to develop.
obviously, Argentina 1985 was good enough to have all of Marvel shaking in their fucking boots
I
for what we hear. So
don't know. We'll see.
I
It's
would be
interesting.
interested to see, yeah, like outside of this firing, will they be able to replace her? Who will they potentially try to replace her with? How's that gonna look?
I don't know. That's a good point because she's been like basically one of the three pillars next to Kevin Feige and someone whose name I'm forgetting right now that have been doing all of this whole MCU. So it's pretty interesting. Also, it was reported that it was not Kevin Feige who fired her. I think they're trying to keep Kevin Feige's hands clean.
Yeah, it wasn't that little robot in that room.
Right. Ah, fuck it. Let's stick with this Marvel news. Somewhat. Look, this literally just happened very recently. Apparently, this was reported by I think like TMZ, but also like the actual New York Police Department. Um, Jonathan Majors, who everyone has been on a high on the past, I would say month and a half, 2 months, a
Hmm.
little more, has been arrested and was arrested in New York City on strangulation, assault, and harassment charges. This was a big shock for everyone, I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean,
Hmm.
this man is getting his flowers right now. He's having his like Samuel L. Jackson moment where he's in just about everything. Ever since Lovecraft Country, this man has had a meteoric rise. This just year, he's been in two big box office movies. So everyone was definitely on his side. You know what I mean? He had a nice, like, what was it, centerfold cover for some fucking magazine where he was dressed up really cool, and people loved him. He may have fucked up his career
Yeah.
completely as quickly as he rose. He may be
Right.
falling, and that's really
I've
unfortunate.
never seen someone hit their peak and their lowest point in record time. Like the Venn diagram is a circle. Like that's nuts.
Well, like I saw some stuff come out about it today where they like his attorney said that it was like his girlfriend and stuff like that, and they took her to the hospital and she's recanted her statement. There's like statements of the driver's stuff. So I don't know. We gotta gotta wait for all the facts to come out. But the weird thing to me is that how as soon as the first news broke, that like the directors and all these people started coming out the woodwork of like, oh yeah, he's terrible.
Right.
That's never a great sign.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's like even if he does clean up his story here, right? And it's like, oh, okay, it's all a misunderstanding, right? We had it wrong, and he's fine. It just
Right.
seems a little odd that all these people immediately were like, yeah, he's terrible. Like, oh
That's
yeah,
the
I got a
biggest
Yeah.
story
thing.
too. Like,
Is even if legally you are quote unquote cleared, the court of public opinion is strong, and
Mhm.
it'll shit on you if you aren't careful. And I mean, like you said, if there's suddenly a bunch of other accounts of people having bad experiences with that actor, yeah, the justice system does what it does. I won't say it's right or
Right.
wrong, but it does what it does. Also, this is a man that now has a lot of money. We also know that financial bullying happens a lot in court and can do a lot for people. Not to
Mhm.
say that we don't. This is all alleged, so I can't say whether he's guilty or not.
Yeah, let's put that in there
Yeah,
so
we'll
we
say
don't
it's a
get
legend.
sued.
But also, if things do go to court and it's not like a civil suit, it's based on the city of New York. That's usually pretty substantial evidence in the beginning.
Right.
mhm.
So that says something right there.
Devin also did state that this was another new news that broke out that the victim did recant her statement, which who knows what any of that means, what's gone in the past 24
Mhm.
hours with all of this going on. Yeah, it's just for one thing, we're all just kind of talking about this and none of us are really knows no one really knows what's actually going on. So let's just put that out there that we'll just kind of wait and see what happens with this. Obviously, none of this really matters in the grand scheme. None of like the MCU and Kang, all that stuff matters in the grand scheme of any of the victims involved in any of this stuff. Let's make sure everyone knows that. But yeah, it's weird. It's weird. We tried to keep light of this. We obviously take it very seriously. It's disappointing. I think is the biggest thing. It's just like, damn, dude. It just seems like everything. There's at least one not great, morally great person in everything in the world, and it's almost like there's people in the world. This just
Right.
sucks.
Yeah,
Right.
everyone's human. Not to say, not like once again, not to discredit anything that happened. Of course,
Right.
any victim, I hope they're okay, and I hope that they get the justice they deserve.
Right.
But yeah, don't look up to people just because they are in stuff that you like, because they also have their
Mhm.
own demons. Can be bad people, can be abusive people, and everything in between. So this is one of those
Yeah.
situations. We
Yeah.
definitely gave this man a lot of heart, and he's definitely been in a lot of people's good graces. And maybe he shouldn't be.
And I think because obviously there's been a lot of comparisons between him and Ezra Miller for obvious reasons. And I think this is just my personal opinion. I think the reason that people are making a bigger deal out of this is one, I think people like Jonathan Majors more
Yeah.
at the time at this time. Like everyone's like rooting for this man to succeed because he's a great actor and he's in great not I'm not, not in great things, but he's great in the things that he's in. Whereas I think even like when all of the Ezra Miller before even the Ezra Miller stuff happened, people were like kind of just fine and lukewarm on them rather than like anything, and I think that's why there was such a big shock and disappointment when this news broke.
For sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's about it. I'm sure this will continue to develop. I'm sure Marvel has not released a statement as far as I'm concerned yet. Loki season 2 is still supposed to be coming like in a couple
He
months.
plays a huge part in the next few years of media
Yeah.
for Marvel, at least. So, woof. That's something that I don't want to be in that boardroom talking about that.
I can't imagine what Kevin Feige when he saw some text what his reaction was. Did the hat come off?
Yeah.
The hat came off.
Hat
The
definitely
hat
The
came off,
hat
100%.
came off.
Sweaty, forehead beaten up with some fucking sweat.
I'm just saying, if there's a recast, just recast him as Don Cheadle. Just do it again.
Just everyone gets to be Don Cheadle. Whenever you replace a black man in the Marvel universe, they're replaced by Don Cheadle.
I
Again,
love
these are
that.
jokes. I'm sorry, but respectfully, hope everyone's all right. Yeah. All right, last piece of shitty fuck this sucks news. Justin Roiland's, you know how he's been under some terrible stuff. Apparently, his charges were dropped and dismissed. That obviously does not mean he may or may not be guilty. And there was also still some weird Twitter DM stuff out in the open that are very much there. So it's interesting.
That's another thing where I was like, the court of public opinion might be the winner on this one, even though you might be
think so.
legally not guilty. There's still a lot of issues there, and I think one of the things we talked about as well off air was how like Adult Swim, both Adult Swim, Rick and Morty, and Squanch Games, the company that he founded that made High on Life, the most recent video game that did really well, was very successful. All were very quick to let this man
Drop
go.
him.
They
Yeah.
dropped him with the quickness, which is interesting. I'm not saying that's indicative of anything, but it's very interesting that that happened as quickly as it did. That leads me to believe that either those companies had a little bit more information on the outside than we did, or they were maybe looking for a reason to get rid of him anyway. Because what I have heard from reports is that he isn't the best person to work with. He's another person that people, as soon as the stuff started coming out, people were quick to be like, "This guy fucking sucks. He's really weird.
Right.
He's really mean. Don't love working with him. Kind of a dick."
Yeah.
So it's like at best, he's a dick. At worst, he's an abuser. This is what it kind of comes down to.
And for anything that matters, it's like apparently with the whole Rick and Morty thing, at least it from what was reported, it seemed like he hasn't been writing on that show for years, anyways, and would basically just come in whenever to do some VO stuff and maybe some ad lib stuff, but he wasn't writing in on that show. So I think Adult Swim was like, whatever.
Right.
It doesn't change much about the show that they're currently making.
Exactly. And that kind of comes back down to the thing where it's like, I don't know if he bullied or what kind of happened, or if maybe he just sent Rick and Morty's most recent season and the judge was like, hell yeah, this shit's awesome, brother. Let's go. Get you out of there. We don't know. This was a very interesting case because we really got no information about it. We don't know what the fuck really happened. And the only reason we know anything about this because a media outlet randomly picked it up when it stopped being like, under wraps as a whole.
Yep.
So we might never know what actually happened in this situation. I do know that it did leave a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth when he did go directly to Twitter and be like, "Justice! I knew they didn't have me. I fucking am the best." And it was like, maybe you should have kept quiet for a little bit longer before saying
Yeah.
shit like that, because that feels really gross.
But clearly, it's like from everything we've heard and seen about him, he's not the type of guy to keep quiet. He's a very vocal dude.
Yeah. Once again, I don't look up to people that you like the stuff that they make, because they could just be bad people.
Parasocial relationships are not.
All right. We also have with J.K. Rowling. We know what it looks like to be bad people, but make stuff that you enjoy.
Exactly. I'm just bummed. I'm so bummed out. That's the news,
man.
listeners.
People just suck the episode.
That was just like 20 minutes of this world sucks news.
Yeah. Final headline: Russia.
Oh no. Hopefully we get some funner news next week, listeners. But that is the world we live in, sadly, right now. But yeah, guys, we survived that. Shall we now move into my main segment of the week?
Let's do it.
I guess.
What's my villain name? Am I Mr. Negative?
Yeah.
Because this is about to be Mr. Negative the episode, baby. Let's fucking go, boys.
No. Listeners, before we move on, we're obviously stuck in another Fourtress. This week, though, we decided to do something a little fun we haven't done with a show before. We're not doing a Fourtress Finest on this show, obviously, but Devin had a cool idea to, you know what? Let's do like a little mid-season recap, catch-up type of thing for this particular show. A lot of side quests. A lot of setup for better be some damn good payoff in this second half of the season, because we in the Fourtress of.
Boom, boom.
It is a dope theme song.
We made a terrible theme song just then, but that's okay.
Mandalorian, baby.
Yes, Mandalorian season 3, listeners. So we're going to be covering episode 1, chapter 17, The Apostate. Episode 2, chapter 18, The Mines of Mandalore. Episode 3, chapter 19, The Convert. And episode 4, chapter 20, The Foundling. All right, let's spoilers from here on out, listeners. For the first 4 episodes of Mandalorian, and probably any kind of Star Wars stuff, just be like, it's all there. It's all, this is tying in so much shit. We'll try to time code some stuff, but it's all there. You kind of got to be in it all the way or don't care about it at all. So here we go. Let's start, I guess, with the man himself, the Mandalorian, and what the hell is happening with his journey with the Mandalorians and this cult, because this seems to be the big storyline, which we kind of were aware of this whole season. Can we first talk about how the Mandalorians, man, they just suck, dude.
They suck. And I was talking to Devin a little bit about that off air. I was like, maybe it's just because the Old Testament motherfuckers just don't know much. They don't see enough world to like actually know how to fight. These guys. Because Mandalorians, just as a whole, they're supposed to be a clan of just fighters. You're supposed to just...
Right.
This is what you do. You're warriors. God, they fucking can't fight for shit. All of them suck.
Terrible.
They can't do anything.
And I mean, I guess that's a testament to why they sucked in all of the mainstream movies, where both Boba Fett and Jango Fett both die immediately.
That's the only reason why I think that it's okay, is because they never were good.
Compared to Jedi, right? And I guess any local wildlife. That are kind of big.
Listen, spoilers for Knights of the Old Republic. They are called Jedi killers in that fucking video game, because they are known for collecting lightsabers of the Jedi that they kill.
Man, they couldn't even kill a baby.
They couldn't even kill a baby. They couldn't even kill themselves. They fucking suck at this.
Yeah, they're pretty bad. I don't know. This is like a cult you don't really want to be a part of.
Absolutely not.
I mean, let's talk about their home. Like the first episode, right at the gate, they're attacked by a fucking crocodile turtle. And it's just like, one thing, why are y'all here? I mean, is it so that because they're in hiding and they know no one will come to this apparently terrible planet?
The place that they were at in Book of Boba Fett was way cooler than this. The Halo ring, they were on a Halo ring. And they moved to like yet another desert, arid planet. Like, God, is there any other kind of planet in fucking all of Star Wars? Like,
what the fuck do they eat?
God.
I want to see some trees, dude.
Yeah, what do they have vegetation? Do they get fiber in their diet?
Never.
I think they starve themselves until they get lucky and kill another wildlife animal, and then they eat that.
This is the way.
They don't have the energy. This is the way.
Yeah.
Because, man, all they do is just kill the wildlife around them or be killed by the wildlife around them, apparently.
And without a main character to guide them, they would be completely screwed. Like, by just the wildlife of what's around you. Like, first, this giant bat bird that can just pick up kids whenever you want. And first of all, there was a helmet in that nest already, okay?
Oh, yeah.
If that happened
They've lost
one
a kid.
Are we not going to set a lookout and be like, hey, maybe look for the skies for this giant
That's what I'm
bird
saying.
thing.
They were just so like, it's happened before. We lost another kid, I guess.
Sucks to suck. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. And then like the crocodile thing could have eaten all of them if Din Djarin hadn't showed up. Like,
Absolutely.
brother.
So ill prepared, which is why like in the most recent episode, they're all training outside and like shooting at the fucking water or whatever. I'm like, y'all okay, one, why y'all training? But actually, y'all need to put in the work because y'all suck. Like you
Yeah.
need more training. Y'all are terrible at your
A couple
jobs.
training camps with the LeBron James because they're struggling.
For real, man. Continuing with them, like there's a bit in that most recent episode where they're rappelling up the mountain. One, y'all don't have like a Batman style auto repel. That why y'all like they're just so lame, dude.
Even those narky Naboo guys in Phantom Menace had like on their little guns, remember?
Yeah.
They like kind of flew up and they're all kind of like goofily hanging on to their guns as they
Yeah.
climb up. I mean,
Like y'all can't just like rappel up there automatically. Like why y'all?
oh man, this is this cult is way too like incompetent to keep your helmet on all the time. Okay, like they are not this hard. Like y'all are not that hard.
They're Old Testament, so they don't know like that other technology exists in the world. So they just got all this shit that sucks, and it's like, oh well, you know, it's blessed by the lakes of the whatever the fuck, and it's like that's cool and all everything, but it don't fucking work because monsters can still chew through us because we suck. Like I don't, huh?
Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
Yeah, they also have like weird contrived rules every time. Like it becomes convenient. Like, oh, hey, Grogu doesn't have to wear a helmet yet because he can't talk, but he also can fight. It's like y'all are just coming up with rules at this point, man.
I think that's like, and we'll probably get into this a little later when we talk about Bo in particular. But like even Mando points that out with Bo. It's like she's respecting like she doesn't give a shit about this is the way rules, but she's so traditional when it comes to this Darksaber shit. And he points that out to her, which I liked in that first episode. It's like, yeah, that's a good fucking point. What's your problem, bro? But yeah, they have all these dumb shit. Well, for one thing, what helmet's gonna fit them ears, dude? Like, let's be real. Like, how are they gonna shape that helmet around his ears?
They're gonna cut ears out of it like a little.
Like, what the fuck are they gonna do?
You're gonna look so fucking dumb in a helmet. Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
he's gonna look terrible.
Stupid. The armor looks stupid.
He already looks goofy. Any scene where Grogu has to move is goofy as fuck. Like,
oh, see, it's adorable whenever he speed walks. That's my favorite.
I mean, it's funny.
If that fucker jumps, that shit look like someone's throwing a rag doll into the air.
It feels so early Power Rangers, so bad.
It's so terrible.
It is so goofy.
Like even that duel when he's shooting the darts and he does like a front flip and then a back flip behind that kid, and I'm like, that shit looked awful.
I know you're trying to not use CGI and stuff like that. Please God, use CGI because what the fuck?
Yeah, maybe do use some CGI.
There are a couple times where Din like just tosses him to another person to hold, and it's like he just chucks.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I don't know because
goofy.
we also don't know how long the show's gonna go. Like, is there gonna be a time jump? Like, will we ever see a big Grogu?
No, never.
I don't think we can.
Yeah, you can't.
It's gonna look weird.
He's just becomes a teenager. Hello, my name is Grogu.
It's been 20, 30 years since he was in the Jedi Temple, and he looks exactly the same.
Right.
He's always going to be Baby Yoda, and that's going to sell a lot of toys over the next 100 years of our lives.
Right. Yeah. What were we talking about before? Oh, we're talking about Grogu and all his fucking terrible flips.
Season 3, everybody. Woo!
It's a winner, baby.
Yeah. I will say though, like with at least these Mandalorians, a lot of the action I thought has been looking pretty decent. Though. Like that dragon bird fight, how they take it down. Which one thing, I love how they just take it down and then let the other wildlife eat it. Like they said, fuck it, whatever. Like they don't. Star Wars universe just doesn't care about any creature ever.
No.
Circle of life.
Also, there's a lot of moral ambiguity about droids in general, but that's neither.
Oh my god, yeah.
That's a whole different conversation.
You want to talk about the potential enslavement of this droids that definitely feel feelings?
Yes. I mean, not just that, but like, I mean, I guess maybe we'll talk about it too, but like IG-11, bro had a statue. They did this whole thing, be like, oh, we're going to resurrect IG-11. And then they just don't. Like, it's like, oh, okay. We don't need him anymore.
I don't think that's coming back ever again.
Yeah. I mean, my boy, he was crazy. They were like, nah, we don't want to fuck with that. That's fucking wild. Get him out of here.
I mean, I kind of hope that they will come back to it at some point because, like, they just literally, he had a cool statue there. they just take his body off, and it's like, oh, we'll kind of half-ass it, and like, oh, never mind, we'll just use this R5 unit against his will.
And that's kind of what fucks with me with this show as a whole, that makes it feel so empty, is because he had a pretty, like, it wasn't a huge role, but he did have a pretty big role in, like, a part of what happens in the story of the last season. And that was supposed to be the whole point. It's like, I want a droid that I can trust. So, like, in a normal movie, even like a normal Star Wars movie, you get this, like, redemption of, like, oh, hell yeah, our best buddy's back. Let's fucking go. They literally show him. He goes crazy. They go, fuck that. And they get a random droid. And that's it. That. That feels so disgusting.
Yeah. But it's just weird, too. Because, like, why even open that plot line if it's not going to go anywhere?
I mean, that whole first episode seemed very much like let's just catch everyone up on where everyone's been in the past since the end of the first or the second season. Because he's just jumping from planet to planet saying, hey, what's up? What's going on? Hey, what's up? What's going on? You got this? Hey, what's up? All right, we're done. Like, it was just very all over the place. I thought, again, I enjoyed it. It's fine. And it's nice to see these characters again. But yeah, that droid shit, they're just like, oh, whatever. We're done.
Yeah.
I do like how when he kills it with the statue, he has his, like, first dad. He's, like, already in dad mode where he says, like, well, that's using your head, because he uses the statue head to crush IG-11. I'm like, he already got the dad jokes, dude. He's already ready.
Hate it.
He's back.
Hate it here.
I guess since we've been talking about it, nothing really else happens in Navarro. That first kind of side planet with Carl Weathers, who's looking fashionable as hell, and as the new leader of the planet.
My boy got a little bit of a stipend, baby. He got some money, looking a little ritzy. I didn't know they had Louis Vuitton up in Tatooine. What the fuck?
I like his two little droids that are holding his cape and like wheeling behind him. I was like, again, going back to Devin's thing, was like, is that slavery? I don't know what we're talking about.
I mean, we know we have all sorts of slavery in the Star Wars universe, so droid slavery is probably the most normal kind.
Droids, they're always there for a quick punchline and some comedic relief, but then when they're murdered, like in front of your face, it's okay.
Right.
It's a weird thing.
Yeah. Obviously, that's nothing much happens there. He offers him like, hey, you want to stay here, be the marshal, have a plot of land, live your life with your kid.
The story of Boba Fett.
Like, no. Right. And which in case he'll do it and then immediately be like, I'm not pretty good at this job. I should leave.
Only if I can get a Rancor to ride eventually.
Get back to the back.
Right. And obviously they fill us in on like where Cara Dune, the Gina Carano character, they're like, yeah, she's Spec Ops and she's
special
gone
ops. Now. Special.
We'll never see her ever again.
She's gone. Never coming home. Man, never coming back here.
Her
again.
show would have been so sick if she wasn't a stupid idiot.
Yeah, that was pretty dumb. Pretty dumb move. And we learned that Moff Gideon is being sent to a New Republic War Tribunal, which there's a brief mention a little later, but he's coming this season. I would imagine at some point he's going to show up. And then we get introduced to the pirate characters that I think they're going to come back to, and we'll probably talk about this maybe later, about where this season's leading to, because clearly it doesn't seem to be a Mando Civil War as we might have thought. It seems to me that the ending of this might just be pirates versus Mandalorians, right. Which I don't know.
Okay.
This fucking Swamp Thing ass Pirate King guy that I'm just like, whatever.
It'd be a lot cooler if it was just those Mandalorians just tearing up some stormtroopers.
I just want them to do something cool.
And something where it shows they actually know how to fight.
Yeah, exactly.
And I mean, it's very obviously leading up to that, but god damn, this is a slow burn. We're in 4 episodes. There's only 8 this season. And we're just getting to the point where basically Bo-Katan is finding her people in order to get this army of people together.
Maybe kind of reclaim?
It seems obviously that's what they're leading towards, to try to like reclaim Mandalore or something of that nature. But fuck, they didn't. And there's just like, this felt so unfocused until this point. And that's what's kind of pissing me off, I think, the most, is how unfocused everything feels. We had the whole apostate issue where it's like, oh, well, I took my helmet off because I had to get through this, so now I'm unworthy. So then they're like, okay, well, go take a piss in the Lake Minnetonka and then you'll be good. And I was like, okay, so that's cool. That'll be an interesting storyline.
Take a selfie and show it to us that you were there. We need the proof.
Right. And it was like, okay, that's cool. We get an interesting thing to like introduce Mandalore and stuff like that. We see the beginning of Mandalore, like the fucking surface of Mandalore for like 20 seconds. We have literally a little bit of thing of like, oh, we can actually breathe air. They were lying. And then he gets in the darkest fucking water, comes right back out. And then that's the end of that. That's like 1 episode. And I was like,
right.
All right. So I guess we're done with that whole plotline. He's redeemed again. So what was the point of making him not redeemed in the first place?
Take longer.
It just like, what the fuck was the point? What was the point of that?
Right.
I guess to show you Mandalore.
I get that, but at the same time, I'm kind of glad that, because like it's been like a slow burn, but also they they did the thing we thought would take the whole season in the first like 2
Right.
episodes. So it's been
Mhm.
like a weird thing where it's like, oh, I thought this would be the whole thing, but it's not.
And then at the same time, they didn't add anything that would make the reason for you not to make this the whole season. You know what I mean? Like everything else has
Right,
been like
right.
seeing stuff from the past after that. So I was kind of like,
Mhm.
what the fuck are we doing here?
I think
Right.
the only thing that kind of is guiding the season forward is Bo-Katan and the Mythosaur thing, because like
Yeah.
I think really early, maybe in the first episode, they say like, oh, if you see a Mythosaur, that means it's good times for the Mandalorians are ahead, right? So like, okay, so she saw a Mythosaur, but it's like now she's kind of like trying to, I guess Bo-Katan's trying to figure out like, what do I do with this information? And like, I guess it's my job to lead the people back to Mandalore, kind of like, a space Jesus. I don't know. It's just, but like until that point, you're like, as the audience, for me, I'm like, yeah, exactly. Like, what are we doing here? Like, I'm just kind of confused as what, like, and it is Star Wars, so I guess don't think about it too hard. But it's like, I would like more of a direction.
I agree, 100%.
Yeah, and I definitely think Bo's story is the strongest this season, which is why let's talk about her whole kind of arc that she's going on, where she sees the Mythosaur, obviously, which cool. I'm imagining we're gonna fucking see that shit out the water before the season ends. Maybe I don't know, or maybe it is just a thing that we never see again, and it's like maybe they try to continue that whole plot thread of did she see it, or was it more like a symbol of metaphor for her or something, but. Either way, I do wanna know what you guys think. Do you think Bo is like is she faking this whole "this is the way" shit just so that she can be like, "I tell these people I saw the Mythosaur, they are basically they'll be my under my command at this point." Like, I'm clearly the best out of all of these people in terms of knowing what the fuck I'm doing.
Right. I truly hope so. I don't
Yeah.
have faith that they will do that because I do know that Disney Star Wars is very by the book. They do not stray for any like that's crazy. What it actually means this like there's no twist. You know what I
Right.
mean? So I fully believe that she spent some time with it and now she's like, well fuck. I have a sense of family again. Like this is really cool. Now I care about these people, you know what I mean? And it's gonna be more of that situation, especially if they take over Mandalore again and take back Mandalore, then absolutely. I hope it's more of a thing that it's like this is a long play for me to get the Darksaber.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what I really hope.
But I mean, she could have She could have taken it already, because she could have just killed. She could have just let him die in the living waters, and then she could have just taken it.
Well, that's the
She doesn't
thing.
want it that way.
Exactly. I think it's the
True.
thing where it's like I think she does like Din. I think she respects Din, and I think she does like Din, and she doesn't want him to die. But at the same time, yeah, I think she's conflicted in terms of how she wants this to all go down. Clearly, she wants to be in charge, and she wants the Darksaber, and she wants to be the ruler of Mandalore again.
Of course, she wants it honorably. She wants a fair fight to actually show, like the test of metal. That's That's what being a Mandalorian is supposed to be. That's supposed to be the whole thing.
Right.
It's like we fight with honor, and we fight for the best, and we fight for righteous whatever. They fight.
And for me, I think right now, I feel like she's playing kind of like she's kind of weighing like, ooh, could I lead these people? But also she's kind of like reconnecting to like those traditions of Mandalore. Like, oh yeah, kind of like remember some of the crazy people talking like that, that never take.
But at the
take their
same
helmets
time,
off.
I don't want these people. They suck, man. Like, what the fuck?
Maybe they
am I
deserve to
If
get
they
wiped
do
out.
take back Mandalore, it's still going to suck a lot. Like,
Yeah.
just these zealots walking around everywhere.
And also, yeah, like I don't want these weird cult people fucking being with Mandalore. Like, come on, dude. These people were like part of like not great things done before in back in like Clone Wars Rebels era stuff. Like
they
it's
came
not
from the bad
good.
guys. These were from the bad guy people. Like she even has like the little maul things on her helmet, the forger.
Yeah, she does.
Or the armorer. Okay, but hey, quick question though. Does it count as bathing if you don't take any of your clothes off? Because that threw me for a loop. Like I thought maybe Din Djarin was going to get mostly naked and keep his helmet on, but he just went in there with his clothes fully on.
He's just butt naked, but still got the helmet on.
I think that's literally what I was expecting. And then he just started walking in with his boots on. I was like, I don't know if that counts, man.
Y'all need to shut up right now because I know fucking Pinterest probably got a bunch of drawings of exactly what you just said right now.
I mean, they did introduce that these Mandalorians fuck.
Yeah.
Vizsla, who is the worst one of them, he's the biggest punk ass bitch out of all of it.
He's
like, that's my kid.
On during sex.
Which means, yeah, they be fucking with them helmets on, dude.
I hate it here. I hate having that knowledge now.
This is the way.
Canonically.
This is the way.
Oh my god.
Oh god. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I just also find it interesting with Bo that she still chose not to tell Din about the mythosaur, but then just was open with the armorer. Like, I wonder, was her
Yeah.
play like, if I tell him and he's not going to be able to help me in any way, but if I tell the armorer, who's clearly the leader of these people, and
Mhm.
get her to like believe me and think that I saw the mythosaur, and if she bends the knee in a way to me, then that means everyone else will. So
It definitely feels like they're trying to play into a conflict.
right.
They do a funny thing in this show that I like because so many people wear helmets, but they definitely show a whole lot of emotion without
Mhm.
showing face.
Yeah.
And one of those parts is definitely when they all sit by the fire and they're like, "Oh, well, we got to go eat. We can't eat together. We all walk to opposite directions."
Dude, that is the saddest shit.
So we could take our helmet off. And she goes to walk away, and he's like, "Oh no, you're the war leader.
Right.
You could eat by the fire." And she's like, "Yeah, I could eat by the fire."
Right.
It's like, that sounds fucking lame as shit, but okay, sure. I mean, if that makes you heartfelt, because you could eat by the fire, go for it, girl. But that was definitely one of those moments of that long pause of like, huh,
Mhm.
I get to eat by the fire.
Yeah.
It is just weird. Like, these Mandalorians are so lonely, dude. They don't even get to
Mhm.
eat next to each other.
How can you be such a clan of people like wolves if you all are lone wolves? What's the point of even being together?
It's very Jedi as well, in the sense that like
Mhm.
no sense of family, because you can't have emotional ties, because you can't just like, you can't go to a bar with your friend Mandalorians because you can't drink or eat with any, like, what the fuck are you
Yeah.
gonna do?
Yeah, what do you talk to Pan
Yeah.
Vizsla about?
I
Yeah.
don't know why Star Wars is so big on that. Like that, I don't know what they're trying to tell with that, but it just always sounds like a really awful thing, and like all these things are awful and cult and shit.
And yeah,
Right.
that's kind of one
right.
of the points, was that the Jedi were too constrained by their rules. And I'm hoping, because I thought they were going to kind of go that way with Din Djarin when they
Right.
first introduced the Mandalorian characters to him in season 2. And they're like, "Oh, he's just one of those death cult people that never take their helmet off, fucking idiot." Like, and he's like, "Wait, like what? Like this isn't the normal like thing." And I thought they were
Right.
going to maybe go the other direction, where it's like, like, oh, maybe the cult that I was from is not, like, maybe there's more to life. But then, which I guess, he did take his helmet off eventually, maybe because of
Mhm.
that. But then for him to like double down and be like, no, I'm back in on the lifestyle, like, just not the way I thought they would
Is
go.
that brainwashing, dude?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's still opportunity for that, and I think maybe towards the end of this season with Bo-Katan and whatever happens at the end, I assume they're gonna take back Mandalore. She might try to introduce more new ideals.
Right.
Hmm.
I do wonder if that's gonna lead to a conflict, or
Right.
Yeah.
if the armor and all the people be like, have to honor what she says because she's the leader now, or will there be
Right, yeah.
conflict
I
there?
guess that, like you said, that might depend on where the battle of the Darksaber kind of begins.
Right.
Is with
Yeah.
that part where it's like, oh, now we have a civil war because we have the people, we have the Bo-Katanerists, and then we have the Old Testament.
We want
We
our
got the
helmets
Marlians
off.
and then
We want our helmets on.
It might actually be something like that, which could be interesting. But that's the thing, is they're
Yeah.
not laying any breadcrumbs to anything right now.
Yeah.
Everything we
Yeah.
just talked about sounds so interesting, but we don't know because they haven't done a good enough job of plotting any of that so far.
Right.
They've been wasting too much time doing,
some side quests.
some random side quests or some backward shit about Moff Gideon and how, we got some people that suck, but they don't suck. But who are they?
Right.
Here's some Andor shit, and that was cool, whatever. I enjoyed the episode, but what the fuck was that with anything?
Oh, that was so.
What ground are you laying?
Well,
Yeah.
now we're there. Let's talk about fucking Mandalorian's Andor episode. Get a lot of Coruscant this season, which I'm kind of into. I kind of like seeing Coruscant again, knowing what's going on there.
I like seeing Coruscant not seen as a hellhole of being like, the place of just straight pure
Mhm.
villainy.
Right.
So that was interesting. Like they were eating candy and looking at
Mhm.
Having
sights
some
and
like a
stuff.
festival or some shit. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was like, thank God that this is actually a place that real normal human beings actually live in,
Right.
more or less. Because Jesus Christ, I've only seen Coruscant as being as the place where villainy incarnate exists.
I know,
Mhm.
right? Yeah. So obviously, this was when I first booted this up and saw that this episode was like 58 minutes. I was like, oh hell yeah, we get a big hefty episode. And then little did any of us know, about 40 minutes of that was dedicated to something entirely different.
So lame. I did not like it.
By the end, I was fine with it because, I mean, obviously it was weird. It's a weird thing to do. And it's very Dave Filoni Clone Wars Rebels, where it's like, we're just gonna do something not with your main characters because
Mhm.
it's very interesting. We've never had that done really on this scale with Mandalorian before, and it may be slightly worrisome to some people that it's leaning this way now.
For me, I hated this because here's why.
Goddamn.
Okay, Clone Wars deserved this. what David Filoni does. What he does is he fills in plot holes from the movies.
Yes,
and it's
he
like,
does.
this is why this happened this way, because it didn't make sense at the time, but hey, here's some context for you. Now it makes more sense, right?
I know where you're going.
The fact that he's doing this
I knew
for the shitty prequel, the shitty sequel movies. The prequel movies were shitty, but it's fun. Okay, it's a joke, it's a meme. Okay, we respect that, it's fine. To do this for the sequels is unforgivable. They don't deserve you, David. They don't deserve it. They don't deserve
David.
They do not deserve this love to like try to make them make sense. Just ignore them completely until Disney retcons it. Okay,
They're not gonna do
let's
it.
just
man.
stay. No, let's just stay in this post let's just stay in the rebellion empire era. I don't want to ever hear resistance. I don't ever want to hear first
It's
order.
coming, dude.
It's fucking bullshit. Okay,
It's coming.
don't justify it. Do not make up for their mistakes.
1,000%.
Do not make
setting up the First Order's rise.
No,
and Palpatine cloning shit. They're doing it.
Do
It's
not-
there.
Do
It's
not,
there.
Do not make up for their shortcomings in those movies. Those movies are garbage. And to see them kind of start hinting towards that stuff now is so disappointing.
Look, yeah.
You're not wrong,
but they're doing it.
I understand why they're doing it.
And
yeah.
look, he made those prequels better with all the stuff he did.
Yes.
Maybe he can do the same thing again with these sequels.
Not possible. No matter how much love he pours into it, it will never be good.
Yeah, I mostly just I did like a lot of elements in this, that mostly the stuff kind of like we talked about how it's like a fake Andor episode, showing that the New Republic's kind of doing the same dumb shit that the Empire's doing, in the sense that they're giving, for one thing, why the fuck are you putting all of the Empire people in the same fucking
that makes
apartment complex? That is the dumbest thing you could do in the world. Like, you don't know, they could be plotting the whole time. You don't know because you put them all in the same damn building, morons. 2, you're giving them numbers and not names.
Yes.
And it's like, what are you doing?
You're dehumanizing
This is some weird shit.
Listen, we all know from playing Battlefront, okay? When you play Battlefront, remember when you play when you play Stormtroopers, they all have like a code. They don't have names. When you play as the Rebellion, everybody has a name. So whenever you get killed, you have or whenever you kill a rebel, they have a name, okay? We don't do numbers in the Republic. We do names, okay? I was big old not buying this part of the story. Not buying it.
I mean, yeah, it just shows that I kind of like this in the sense that the New Republic wasn't perfect. They made mistakes, obviously, which led to Rise of the First Order, to Devin's disagreement, but
and that's the thing. And that's I know Devin doesn't like it because it doesn't seem believable. But I mean, think about the amount of times in when an enemy is defeated and then they're kind of reintegrated into society, and how this tends to go. Oftentimes, it looks equally as bad as it did before they were integrated. Where it's like, well, shit.
Right.
Even though you're different and you claim on doing better, it actually isn't that much better. I kind of like that gray area. I think that's an important thing to have because, like you said, it does show that it's nobody's perfect here. Everyone thinks they're doing the right thing. Both these motherfuckers are honestly wrong when it comes down to it.
Yeah.
It's especially talking about the scientist himself. He thought that what he was doing had really good ramifications. We know obviously that's not true. And ends up being a really bad thing. Yeah, he was like, well, God, I can do more, I can do better, but they're just making me do this stupid paperwork, which is most of us work capitalism jobs. We probably feel the same way. I know I do. I feel like I'm more capable than what I do in my 9 to 5.
Right.
And it's really defeating for someone to sit there and make me do all this nonsense when it's I'm capable of more. I can really help if you wanted me to. Why don't you allow me to?
Here's the thing with this doctor, okay? He definitely could have done it. There's something he could have done to do this the right way, okay?
Oh, this man got fucking manipulated
my God.
shit. My man got the mental capacity of a beaver. What the fuck is wrong with you, bro? One fun person brings you some snacks and you're like, hell yeah, brother, let's commit crime.
Yellow biscuits, let's go.
Give me some cookies.
He had enough energy to commit crime because he had those yellow biscuits.
But if he had just told that droid that he was checking in with, the therapist droid, hey,
dude,
do you
I
have
got a huge problem with droid parole officer, dude. What the fuck are we doing, New Republic? The droid's not programmed to see human ticks of emotion. He's clearly not okay. Yeah. This is a terrible system.
But he said that he was.
But if he actually spoke openly there, he's you guys are wasting my talents. Give me a better job. Bing, bing, boom. He's probably sitting there next to Princess Leia. Hey, let's get some cloned hearts.
But I guess it's also things we don't even know who is in charge. What government is is in charge of and ruling on making these decisions? We don't know. I think that's a big thing. It's obviously not one person. I would imagine it's some kind of council, but we don't know who those people are making those dumb decisions.
But we know government. Like, of course
Well,
they're gonna make the
right.
worst decision. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
And that's supposed to be kind of the play on it. And they're a little less gray than I think they're trying to be about it
Mhm.
for that reason. Because it's a little. This is probably the most on the nose part of the show so far, where it's just like,
Right.
yeah, we got all this good information about the Empire. We're throwing that shit away. And everyone's like, what? Don't you want to use that? That takes so much time. Fuck that. We'd rather just throw it away. And it was just like,
Yeah.
that sounds so government right now to do something exactly like that. We're like, nah, we'd rather not do that.
Yeah,
Right.
it felt too like contrived to be like
Right.
to be make any sense, you know?
Oh, I think it made total sense when, in the sense that I think when the New Republic took office, they were like, anything with a cog, anything with the Empire symbol is trash. We don't like it. We don't want it. It's a symbol of hate. I totally understand them doing that.
It's one of those ethic things though that I feel like is explored much better in literally everything else other than Star Wars. Where it's like, yes, this was information founded under bad pretenses, but it's already been done, the damage.
Right.
Should we waste it based on, altruism? Or should we use
Right.
what was, so
Yeah.
it doesn't get, those people didn't die in vain or whatever, however means it was to get this information.
Yeah.
They already chose their spot on this where they're just like, yeah, we don't fucking care. Get rid of it.
Mhm.
Which is unfortunate, but I
Yeah.
do think that's an interesting thing to try to explore, but obviously it doesn't get explored very quickly because Homeboy was set up.
Which we haven't even talked about her as much as like by the end, my biggest question is she's like a triple agent then, right? She's still working
Yes.
for probably
Yeah.
Moff Gideon.
Moff Gideon, yeah.
Oh yeah.
And
for
she's
sure.
pretending to work for the New Republic, but she's actually still working for him in this whole process.
Yeah.
You know?
Definitely.
It reminds me of that army commercial where Homegirl just looks into the camera and goes, I did my part. I don't know why.
Was she munching on that biscuit at the end?
I mean, and that's like just gross incompetence by the Republic this whole time.
They're
'Cause,
dumb.
like,
Why is everyone so dumb in this universe?
but the fact that they're like, she's like, hey, just leave me in here with these controls like that, where I can turn up the juice on this guy. Like, he's a good friend of mine. Like, you definitely didn't just catch me in there too. Like, and the guy's like, no,
Right.
I'll take your word
Listen,
for
man,
it.
if you're making minimum wage and lunch is at 1 p.m. and you don't get another chance to change it, so if you late to lunch, you just miss your lunch. That man was going to his lunch at 1 p.m. regardless of what was going on there. But
he's like, whatever. My question is with that is like she mind flays him like to the max. He's maybe dead, maybe memory wiped.
Lobotomized, Jesus.
I was a little confused, and I'm assuming they'll answer this by the end of the season. Why is it? Because she knew she couldn't get him out of there to Moff Gideon to continue his research. So she was like, we can't have his brain being used for the New Republic. So let's just fry it. He knows too much. Or because like you think that they would want him back.
Yeah,
That's what I was assuming. Yeah, so I thought that was weird as well.
I don't think he's dead. He's got to be back.
Yeah, but she like fried his head.
But man don't got no memories. He's not gonna remember the things that he was doing. I just figured he'd lose all the information that was important to him.
Right.
So now he'll just be reprogrammed to be just another New Republic lackey, which is not what she would want. I would think.
I thought she was just
Yeah.
going to torture him so that he would turn against the Republic and then start,
Again, maybe we'll
working
find
for the
out. I don't
Empire
know.
again.
That's
But-
interesting. I didn't think about that. I just figured he would just there'd be nothing there.
But
Yeah.
if his whole thing is cloning research, that you only need one strand of DNA to get multiple copies of one person, then I think we're going to need him around. You know what? I hope he is dead. I hope he is dead. I hope that they open that door and then they promptly close it again.
That's kind of this whole thing. Where's one funny thing that I saw in this particular section of the episode? I like how the Star Wars space subway system is kind of just like New York, where you just crawl under the bars and get into the subway. And it's like, whatever.
That's like nothing changed. We still don't pay. Fuck you.
It's the slowest train chase for all of that droid in the actual subway train. It's like, all right.
They took that directly from Final Fantasy VII, and that pissed me off.
Oh, really?
That is a Final Fantasy VII thing where they're like, oh, we got to keep going to the next thing, and then we finally jump off the train. That is strictly from Final Fantasy VII.
The slowest
to
train
the
chase
point.
I've ever seen.
Oh my
Literally,
God.
the way that the people look at them when they go to each train car is Final Fantasy VII. Where they're like, oh, what the fuck are you doing, bro? I'm just a businessman trying to get home from my long day at work.
Yeah, that was goofy.
Let's stick with Coruscant and move on to the next little bit of side with major development with Grogu's Order 66 flashback, which I will say was a lot fucking longer than I thought it was going to be. I didn't know it was going to be a whole set piece.
Right.
That was nuts. Fucking, I can't believe Ahmed Best saved Grogu.
Mhm.
They got Jar Jar Binks to save Grogu. The redemption arc we all needed.
That's amazing. That's kind of the coolest shit. Because like when the doors open and you see him, I didn't peg who it was until I saw his name in the credits, and then it clicked on me because I remembered what he looked like. I was like, oh shit. I didn't realize that was him. They could have easily put any like a bigger, more well-known Jedi there when those doors open and he's standing there. But the fact that they did that, because very few people I would imagine knew who the hell he was. Because
Right.
I did a little bit of research. I found out this is not his first appearance actually in this universe. Ahmad Best plays this Jedi, Kelleran Beck. He was in a like Star Wars YouTube game show.
Oh no.
He was like the host with a CG droid of like a kid's game show, kind of like a Legends of the Hidden Temple type shit.
Oh no.
Jeez.
So that's canon, I guess.
Was he Jedi Keller and Beck in that as well?
Yes, he was the exact same Jedi.
It's the same guy.
Yes.
That's fantastic.
But yeah, I thought that, yeah, the Great Redemption, that was so cool of him. I thought his choreography was pretty cool. Obviously, I was like, as soon as he popped in and he had 2 lightsabers, I was like, Brian gonna love this dude.
Yep.
He's a
Hell
black
yeah,
bald guy
brother.
with 2 lightsabers. This is like Brian's avatar.
He's just like me, baby. No, I thought it was badass, dude.
Yeah, he did a good job.
Yeah, just great. Obviously, like, he played Jar Jar, as Brian said, and he went through some shit times because obviously no one really liked that character, and obviously not his fault. But like, much like Andy Serkis, he was ahead of the times. He was doing that mocap. He was wearing that weird Jar Jar suit, doing that shit. And so to see him play such an integral role of saving Grogu, he saved Grogu is awesome. Good for him. And also, not even only that, like it looks like the ship that comes down is like from Naboo.
Mm-hmm.
Who sent that ship?
Right.
Oh yeah.
Probably, maybe, I would allude to fucking Jar Jar Binks. So Jar Jar saved Grogu twice.
Maybe so. Yeah.
Redemption for Jar Jar as well.
No, I still think Jar Jar is a Sith Lord. And
Yeah.
it's all along going to reflect.
You know Filoni knows that theory, and he could
Oh,
go
yeah.
and lean into it if he wanted to. But yeah, I mean, for me, this opened the question of like, is Grogu more important than we think? Like, is he Yoda's son, maybe? Because
They were very focused on
exactly, like
yeah.
they put a lot of effort into getting him out of there, but they did not put in for that that other group of younglings.
For all the millions of other children.
The rest of you wait here. Grogu, come with me.
Right.
5 minutes
They're
later,
like,
Anakin
wait,
walks in.
why don't we get a cool floaty pod that can close and shield us? Don't worry about it. Stay here.
Fuck you, kids.
Master Skywalker will
Wait,
be
can we
here in
call
a
him too?
minute.
No. You guys can hide behind these chairs or some shit.
Yeah, I don't know what I want, where I want that story to go with Grogu. To be honest, I feel like they do love to tie everything to the main story. I don't want them to do that anymore.
Yeah.
I feel like this would be the opportunity to get away from that. But
I don't think he's related to Yoda. I think it's more of a thing like this species is incredibly powerful and therefore more important than anyone else.
I mean, that could definitely be it too. But I feel like because they're so rare also, I mean, it makes sense that it could be Yoda's son. I don't know.
If that's the case, Yoda is the worst father.
I mean, we already know that. Man
Yeah.
was a crackhead, came out of the fucking bayou, said some weird ass puzzles, and then dipped. Like,
Yeah,
the fuck, and
that's
that
true.
was supposed to save the world. Like, the
Yeah,
fuck?
he went into exile instead of trying to track down his son.
Right.
That'd be really crazy if the entire species is just one fucking line of
One
lineage.
family tree.
there's no one else.
Family
It's
tree
like the
is straight
Targaryens.
asexual reproduction.
I
He
mean,
just grew out of him.
out of my butt he came.
I didn't realize that Order 66 was fought in these streets like this, though. Like, I thought it
They
just
were-
all took place in the temple, but no,
That shit was everywhere.
What
It was
the
hands on
fuck?
sight no matter where you went.
that was nuts. Yeah, I do wonder if we'll get any more Grogu flashback stuff.
We gotta.
Is that
for
the last
sure.
of Keller and Beck? I hope not. I hope we see him again, but I could see that as a glorified cameo, though.
I mean, we got a lot of story to tell from Order 66 all the way to him ending up in like the care of like some mercenaries and
Yeah.
episode 1 of The Mandalorian. So
I definitely thought for a split second we might see Anakin Skywalker in that.
Ooh.
I was
like,
I was really hoping.
woo! Did they get Hayden to just get in a blue screen again during when he was
Yeah.
filming Obi-Wan or what?
Honestly, he needs another redemption arc from Obi-Wan. 'Cause that sucks. So I thought that was his redemption arc. He needs another one. We fucked up last time.
Oh, that's funny. That's kind of the side stuff. Going back to like Mando's main stuff. Again, we talked about how Bo is the best. What do you guys think of when she wields the dark saber and fights the mechanical spider, Russian doll spider thing.
Yeah, what the hell was that? I mean, it was cool, very cool.
Yeah, I like the design.
But also, like, was that supposed to be somebody, like, from the past? I don't know, because it was just an
Something
eyeball.
that will have a really ridiculous name that no one's ever heard of before unless you read some random fucking comic. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Or it's just nothing. I feel like this show brings a lot of stuff that just doesn't matter and no one cares about, which kind of pisses me off because I feel like this is such a fleshed out world that we have plenty of things we could use.
Yep.
But instead, we just make crocodile turtles.
Yeah.
She wields the Darksaber way better than the Mandalorian does. That man couldn't even lift that
much
shit.
Better than him.
And see, I thought at that moment they might just be like, "Oh, because you saved my life, okay, now the Darksaber's yours." Like, I don't know.
No,
but she just gave it back to him.
Yeah,
she don't want it unless she beat his ass for it. That's the only way.
Right.
This is the way.
I did like how this bit was like Grogu got his own little action sequence though of having to escape. I kind of love that. It's like this is Grogu's big first solo quest of having to run back to Bo and getting him to come back and save Mando.
Fucking terrible.
That whole episode was so goofy to me. How they just like literally did the same thing twice.
Yeah,
all the way up, all the way down.
In like 10
it
minutes.
felt like a video game. Like, oh, let me go save checkpoint.
That's this whole show. This whole show is a video game from the first episode. That's why we talk about side quests.
True. You just never do the main story. There isn't one.
This is all the side quests that you forgot to do in Skyrim. Is this show?
Yeah,
it really makes me mad.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah,
I like again. We kind of briefly talked about. I like a lot of the space battle stuff. Particularly, I did like the Top Gun, the Mandalorian bit in the the most recent episode. No, the third episode where Mando and Bo are fighting off some TIE fighters. Which where's that lead into? Where did they all come from? Because she even makes the point that's like that's not some random warlord. Are we doing some Thrawn shit? Is that what we're going to? Is that what we're doing?
Please leave better breadcrumbs because I forgot that even happened because it mattered so little.
It's very quick. It was very brief. Yeah.
There's so much stuff that is just in this web, but none of it connects to anything yet. And I don't want it to be a episode 7 thing where it's like, when this and this and this and this and this and this all come to this. Right. I'm like, I want to have an ability to be able to do it myself. You know what I mean? Like it feels good to feel smart. Like even if you do it really heavy handed, it feels good to be like, haha, I saw that coming because I knew this and this and this.
Right.
And we're not getting that. Where is that?
I mean, I think they are definitely teasing some Thrawn stuff because I think episode 1, when they were in hyperspace, you saw
the space whales,
and that's definitely a Thrawn, Rebels throwback. So
absolutely,
they're dropping a little bit of breadcrumbs.
I mean, I'm pretty sure Ahsoka is supposed to come out this year. I'm pretty sure. So probably throwing out some feelers, maybe because I think we all kind of figure we'll see Thrawn in that.
Yeah,
at some point.
I assume it'll be a thing that'll fully show at the end of episode 8.
Yeah,
and that'll be the big thing that makes us say once again how good this had the Mandalorian is, the same way we did the second season.
Yeah,
right.
I was talking to Devin about that off air as well. As I feel like no one remembers the first half of the second season of Mandalorian because nothing burger.
Because nothing mattered once Luke showed up.
Exactly. And I feel like that's exactly what they're doing with this, where there's going to be a solid fucking 6 out of 10 until we get to maybe next episode next week, and then we're going to be like, holy shit, let's fucking go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mid-season review, a lot different from a full season review.
Yeah,
right,
for sure.
Right. We also obviously got Alex's favorite mechanic at one point. She was just there. She was fine. She's scamming some people with some Jawas. She's ripping people off, mafia style.
Nah, man,
we don't have to talk about
campy as fuck.
We don't have to do that.
But I will say one thing that is actually pretty damn cool is that she gets to say, "May the Force be with you." I don't know if she said that in the past at all, or for this the first time, but just like not many Star Wars characters get to fucking say that. So I just thought that was very kind of cool for that actor. I would imagine you were one of the few that gets to say that very iconic phrase. It's pretty dope. Pretty dope. That's like the goal, right? It's either get a lightsaber or say "May the Force be with you."
Hell yeah, brother! I want the lightsaber.
Yeah.
If I had a choice, I want the lightsaber.
That's kind of it. I don't know if you guys have any other final thoughts.
If you can't tell, I'm not feeling so jazzed about this so far. I do hope that my opinion changes drastically over the next few weeks.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
But I have not been. This has been feeling that they're phoning it in on this season, and I really hope not.
But I think Mandalorian's always been this campy and kind of just weirdly all over the place. I think that the reason we're being harsher on season 3 is because of Andor. Like because we know that the potential's there to tell a great connected story for adults. I just feel like going back to Mandalorian after that, you're like, oh yeah, like some of this dialogue is goofy as fuck, and like some of the plot lines are just kind of weird and campy, and more Star Warsy. So I just think that I think it's struggling because of it's now in the shadow of Andor.
Andor did change things.
Yeah, the worst thing ever happened to Star Wars was Andor.
And the best.
Because it made us truly realize what a good Star Wars could look like.
Right, yeah. It's a double-edged sword. Yeah, I'm still having fun with it. I'm there's some parts where I'm very jazzed, some parts where I'm just like, okay, kind of just going through Mando motions. I'm still hoping it at least does some cool shit. And I will say it does do at least a cool thing at least once every episode.
That's true. That is true.
We'll see where it goes. We'll see if any of this ties. We'll see what happens with all of this shit, man. Probably listeners will probably do the last 4 episodes in the finale in a couple weeks when it's all said and done. Talk about this season. Until then, that's all, listeners. Guys, shall we now move into our final segment of the week?
Let's do it.
Which we like to call Free For All, title pending, listeners. This is a segment where we kind of do whatever we want. We can talk about our day, talk about our life, recommend stuff, take a nap, fight. It is Free For All. Who would like to go first?
I can go real quick. Wanted to let you guys know that we recently watched Woman King, which was a great movie. I really enjoyed it.
Minor spoilers for the Woman King, listeners.
Also learned a lot about the kingdom of Dahomey, which is where that takes place, and they really were a real life kingdom that kind of like fought themselves out of some bigger powers that surrounded them, and they literally did have this elite guard of women soldiers that were like I think they started off as elephant hunters, and then they would put them in the back behind the men soldiers during battle to make their numbers look better, but then eventually when they just needed them to fight, I guess maybe they distinguished themselves at this one battle, and then ever since then they just became this like elite fighting force. But yeah, the movie I thought did a really good job too of just like showing all the kind of weird spot that they were in, like given that they were kind of reliant on the slave trade as well, but they were trying to so the main character played by
Viola Davis.
She's like this based on this real general that wanted to like stop this like doing the slave trade in Dahomey. But one of the coolest things I learned about Dahomey, I think, looking up their Wikipedia after, was that they actually had independence for a long time after that during the colonial period. So I thought that was really cool. But yeah, I thought they did a really good job of showing some like really some of those heavy issues of that time, but also having a really cool, some cool badass scenes as well. Very good movie.
Viola Davis got fucking ripped for that movie.
She did. She did. Yeah, she worked her ass off. I also saw it too. I enjoyed it. I don't think I liked it as much as Devin. It's kind of paint by numbers a little bit, but I thought the action was pretty good. I thought the performances were good, but it was just the story where I was just like, I'm a little just fine with it. And then the historical inaccuracy is a bit kind of everywhere in the sense that, yeah, like Devin said, they weren't entirely great in terms of they did kind of use the slave trade as well.
Yeah.
So there's also that. It's fine.
It was accurate because she wanted to end it, but it was, I guess, because the king said he wanted to end it, but John Boyega's character, the king, is pretty dumb. So like it seems like he said at the moment that they would get out of it, but then maybe 5 years down the road he would change his mind. So
yeah.
But that last shot of them like after they burned down that port and like the three of them are kind of sitting and like watching the ships go away, man, that was cool. That was real cool. Sorry, spoilers. Sorry about
that. God damn it.
I can quickly know next. I saw John Wick Chapter 4 this past weekend.
Did
you? Devin, did you want to tell the listeners your little John Wick story?
Well, there was some alcohol involved, and we ambitiously bought some tickets for 9:45 p.m. showing on this past Friday. And then after about half an hour of ads for other movies, my girlfriend looked at the runtime and she's like, this movie's like 2 hours and 15 minutes long. So we promptly left after the Japan part. Again, alcohol involved, not our best decision. I think that might be the only time I've ever left a movie theater early. But like, we saw the Japan, like the opening action sequence of the movie, and she's like, how do they have 2.5 more hours of this? Like what are we going to do for the next 2.5 hours?
And I'll let you know, because I saw the entirety of the movie. In fact, it's a phenomenal movie. If you're a fan of action movies, because there is a lot of violence in this. So if you're not a fan of that, well, I don't know why you're here. You kind of know what you're getting into with this.
Mm-hmm.
It is a phenomenal movie, and it's probably my favorite of the 4, if not tied with the first one, which is kind of incredible. To me, I didn't really feel the pace, which is remarkable. It's very much like Avatar, where it's like, wow, I don't know how they did this. It's like a modern day epic action movie in the sense that like it's emotional. It's more inclined with the first one in terms of the emotions and the stakes, and then there's some consequences that of John's actions that are in this. Whereas in the other two, it's just like he can just kind of kill his way through everything and deal with it later. Whereas this, there's actual consequences and some absolutely beautiful production in this movie. There is
Mm.
one particular section towards the later half of the movie where there's a couple shots, and one shot in particular that's like a big crane shot that is one of the absolute coolest fucking things I've ever seen in a movie.
Mm-hmm.
And just I can't imagine the setup that they had to do and the practice and the rehearsals to nail this because it's also like basically a one shot, but in a way that I haven't seen like this before. And it was just astounding and so cool. And man, I need Keanu Reeves and Tom Cruise to do a movie together because those two dudes just like they're like the two oldest dudes that are just putting their asses out there for every fucking shot, and it's incredible.
People that want to do their own stunts are. I feel like if I was famous, I'd want to do that, but realistically, I probably wouldn't. So to actually want to do that is really crazy to me.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's nuts.
I feel like it's such a commitment to your craft, even if your movies are whatever.
Right. And clearly Keanu is committed. He loves the thing doing this. Yeah, it was just a phenomenal ride and a great movie that I'm not gonna spoil anything about it. It's just a very fun ride. I would say if you're a fan of this type of thing, I definitely would go see it because again, the production, there are some beautiful fucking shots in this movie and beautiful sets and beautiful set pieces. I was like, I don't usually think about that stuff as I'm watching a movie, but it stuck out in this. And I didn't realize that this director is also doing the Ghost of Tsushima video game
Mm.
adaptation movie.
Ooh.
And like Devin had mentioned, there is a section in Japan where I was like, I see why they gave him the job. Because I can absolutely, he does have a love and for the Japanese cinema, and there's a flair, and there's definitely a lot of cool shit. So I'm like, all right, I get it now. I get it.
Damn.
I'll play that game someday.
Yeah.
I wish I'd stayed. Can't wait to see it someday.
As always, shout out to God of War Ragnarok.
Oh, fucking huge.
I got it in.
Nice.
I can go really, really quick. I did finally see that movie Megan, that horror movie that came out
Oh,
about the little
shit.
child doll that kind of goes crazy and kills people. It's basically just Chucky, but not Chucky. It was a
Mhm.
fun movie. I was actually surprised that it was fun. It got really wildly high rated, which I thought this movie was going to be atrociously bad. As soon as I saw the first trailer, I was like, this is going to be an awful movie. 30% on Rotten Tomatoes. Not even interested in it. Next thing I know, I'm hearing this movie get 93% rated on Rotten Tomatoes. Ridiculous.
Damn.
I don't rate it that highly. I give it probably a cool 7 out of 10. But gosh, it gives me so much dystopian interest and also fear to see the beginning half of this movie because I could 100% see exactly this happen. I mean, we've seen so many things that have been like, what happens if we make, androids and toys that look like us? What will that do to our mental health? It fucks it up. Who would have thought? It really fucks you up. It turns out when you're not getting your human needs met, or you're getting your human needs met in unnatural ways, it fucks you up. This movie explores that pretty well. So the best part isn't even the part of like the horror movie aspect of it, of the doll being scary and killing people. It's more of like how it's affecting the child. That's not to go like too far into spoilers or anything. We all know it's about a killer doll. Let's be real.
It's in the trailer.
But it's more like how it affects the children that are, that interact with this little doll. Because if I had something like this as a child, of course I wouldn't want any other fucking friends. I have the perfect friend right here, 24/7.
Right.
I'm not going outside to ride bikes with fucking Oscar. I'm going to go play with my friend Megan. The fuck?
Got everything you need.
And I thought that was really interesting. Yeah, so I like the exploration and stuff like that because it's like the science fiction has always been interesting to me because a lot of it does come true. You know what I mean?
It stems from
it stems from reality. It's like those things could absolutely be an ethics issue at some point in time.
I feel like AI has just been blowing up too, like last few months. So it's very topical.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about last week. Alex brought up how the whole video games, AI writing video games potentially, and stuff like that. I think Ubisoft introduced an AI ghostwriter basically. So weird shit's happening, guys.
I don't know where it's gonna get. I mean, we talk about that in VR. Like, would you live in a virtual reality if it looked as good as real life, but it wasn't real life, but your life was better there? Is it still considered real life?
It's the Matrix.
If you get into the Matrix, would you just live there even though your body's decaying and sucks in real life?
It's that homeboy eating that steak, bro.
Hey, maybe you just want to eat the steak.
A lot of people would live that life for sure.
It's a scary thing. But yeah, decent watch. If anyone wants a horror movie that they haven't seen, they're kind of bored with anything, I'd say watch it. It's on like Peacock or something stupid like that. So I had to pay my $5. Fucking damn it! But that's whatever.
Wait, Brian, have you seen Annabelle as well?
I've not seen Annabelle. No.
Okay.
Is that good? Is that worth the watch?
Well, no. I was going to question both of you. Would you rather fight a demon doll or the Megan, the robot doll?
Oh, fucking! Give me the robot. I'll fight the robot. I'm not fighting Supernatural. You out of my mind?
I don't know how to fight Supernatural.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of shit.
That's
What's
my issue with
that?
demons. I don't know how to fight a demon.
Although it would be fun to just kick the shit out that doll. Just punt it out the window.
Yeah. Megan is made out of like a titanium alloy, so you will be breaking your foot if you do
that
kick
changes
her.
it.
Yeah. If I'm just fighting the doll versus the robot, the doll's easier.
Yeah, because I think Megan's a little bigger too, right? Annabelle's a doll. Megan's like a human size.
Megan looks
child.
like about the size of maybe like a 10-year-old child.
Ooh.
So you're basically fighting a 10-year-old child that can rip your arms off.
A 10-year-old Terminator. That sounds awful.
That's different.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Can a shotgun blast kill a demon if it's in a doll?
I don't know.
Yes.
You got to do it like Constantine. You got to dip it in holy
it might
water.
make the demon come out, and now the demon's inside of me, and that sucks. Like, you know
Listen,
what I mean? I don't know.
No, I'm just staying in the church. I'm gonna go straight to the church. You can come at me there. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll have to ask Alex sometime too. Bring him in on that. But that's a tough debate question.
Yeah,
titanium 10-year-old or a demon doll.
I thought it would be Megan easy, but now
doll.
I'm thinking I might rather fight Annabelle.
I'm thinking
she's a little strong. I'll tell you that.
I love it. We could do a whole podcast on what fucking childhood dolls and children.
That's gonna be our next episode. I hear it already.
There you go.
We did one on best babies. Now we're doing one on best babies we can beat up. All right, that is our show, listeners. Thank you for joining us. You can email us every week at thefourtress@gmail.com. Fortress spelled F-O-U-R. Feel free to email us any questions, feedback, or recommendations, or anything of the like. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and the YouTube channel at The Fortress of. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your grandma, tell your cat. Rate, review us. Follow the 3 R's. Rate, review, recommend. We will do an awesome Bollywood number if you do. Thank you, Jackie, for helping edit the podcast every week. Thank you, Brian, for the art. Thank you, Alex, for the music. And Devin, thank you for being here, even when you're not here. You can find Brian on Instagram at ITZ_ by the way, Alex at Peterson Films. And Devin, you can find him trying to either fight a tiny mechanical girl or a tiny porcelain doll.
Probably the porcelain doll, I'll be honest.
Next week, I don't know. Dungeons and Dragons. Just kidding. We're not gonna talk about that.
Oh, no.
I'm sorry. We're not gonna talk about that movie.
No?
Although, from what I hear, it's not bad.
I want to see it.
I might check it out. I think I predicted that it would be just kind of like not bad. So
Maybe I'll go watch the first 30 minutes and then leave.
You know what you should do? Go buy a ticket for Dungeons and Dragons and then go and see All right, listeners, happy holidays and put a code on its code out there.
I heard that if you tan your balls,
Jesus,
it increases your testosterone. I don't know. People are fucking weird on the internet. I heard that today, though.
Is that true?
I have probably not. Fucking, who knows?
All right, listeners, we'll see you here next week in another episode of The Fortress of...
Out of my butt he came.